Hey, Mark here. How you doing? Hope you're well, all things considered. And been a while since I've done a update because been massive changes, as I'm sure there has been for everybody. I'm no longer in Spain. I'm in the UK now. I relocated back a few weeks ago, just as the lockdown happened everywhere in Europe. So I left Spain at the end of lost track of time actually, in days. I left Spain at the end of February, spent a couple of weeks in March, drove my car back, obviously as you can see I'm sitting in it. So I spent a couple of weeks in France before getting back to the UK, and then I got back here just as the French went into lockdown and the Spanish had gone in that weekend, although I wasn't there at the time. I hope that, wherever you are in the world watching this, that you're safe and that your family and loved ones are all safe. It's a very strange time for us all. I've moved back, as you know, if you've been a subscriber of mine or following the channel for a bit, you probably hear me talking about my little girl. I moved back. My intention was to move back to the UK anyway, to spend a bit more time with her. So it's a bit of a wrench leaving Spain. It's pretty bloody cold here. It's 9 degrees at the moment, so I've got to acclimatise to that a bit. So I thought I'd do an update. I was going to do some road trip stuff through France to sort of top up the other series that I'd done before, but to be honest with you, coming through northern Spain, there wasn't really anything new I could add to that. And I'm getting fat because I'm eating all sorts of weird stuff and not exercising or going out or doing any of the normal stuff that I should be doing, and my hair's going a bit mad because there's nowhere to get a haircut. I did a bit of footage in France when I was at my mate's there, but I don't know obviously how interested people really are in that kind of stuff. I've had some good comments on the road trip stuff, so I might try and edit a bit of that in there, but for now I just wanted to sort of get up to date and put a new video in and just kind of say hi and that I'm still around, and to wish everybody well. I'm just about to dive in and get some fuel, which is really cheap here in the UK at the moment. So I will do an update in a bit. I don't know what's happening with my oh, that's weird, I just had to turn off. I don't know what's happening with my air conditioning fan. It seems to have gone a bit mad this morning. So I'll do some updates in due course, and I might top this video up as well. I'll see how I get on. So anyway, if you're still with me, apologies if this video is a bit bitty. As you'll know if you've seen any of my other stuff, I don't normally chop stuff around like this. I try and sort of put a video together in a way that's kind of linear. But anyway, I looked back at what I'd said earlier and I thought, yeah, I'll kind of sort of finish off the story, if you like. So the car, I'll talk more about that obviously than the sort of situation, because I'm sure everyone's not interested in my private life, personal life or whatever. But the car itself did really well. I left where I lived in southern Spain, in Andalusia. It's a very mountainous part of the world, and obviously that's going to affect the fuel consumption because you're going up some pretty big climbs, sort of like 400 or 500 meters above sea level on some bits, and then other climbs are going up. And by the time you get to Granada, you've been up and down for quite a few mountains there, and it's about 3 hours drive, and it's only really then that it levels off a bit as it goes off up towards Madrid. And Madrid is quite high. In central Spain is actually quite high above sea level, but it doesn't really feel that way because it's quite flat. So when you're there, you actually feel like you're on just sort of normal ground, if you like, but of course you've had quite a climb to get up to that height. And the Valdepena region, which if you're a wine fan, you'll know Valdepena, that's just before you get to Castilla-La Mancha, and that's the sort of Madrid area, the counties or provinces as they're called. So the fuel consumption averaged out about 27 to 28, and I did about 475 miles on my first bit. So I got in the car, left about 4:30, 4:45, something like that, drove for 475 miles, got out, had a coffee, had a little pan of chocolate or whatever and a roll, filled up. I think I put about 90, maybe 100 euros of fuel in, maybe not quite that much actually. I think it was about 90. And then, so I was pretty pleased with that. So the fuel consumption averaged out quite well, considering the first bit is mountainous. From there, and the place I stopped is in Spain, as if you've seen any of my other like road trip stuff, you know that I love driving through Spain. You can just stop anywhere and get a coffee and a croissant or a little baguette or something, unlike France, which is actually really difficult to do that, ironically, because everyone has this idea about France having this cafe culture and that kind of stuff, but it's actually quite hard in the small towns at least to be able to do that. Whereas in Spain you can drive along pretty much any A road and there's all these little ventas, or they're like little sort of restaurant, shop, bar, cafe things, and they call it a venta, and they do menu del dias and stuff like that, so you can go and have a good meal for like €7. It's just unbelievable, really. And so the Milagros is a nice place. It's quite big. It's got a fab sort of like bar restaurant there, and it's obviously quite a busy stop. It's got a good fuel area there. And so I filled up, went from there up to the Charente area place called Mandat, which is literally in the middle of nowhere. And the car was doing 31.3 to the gallon there, but that's pretty steady cruising. Like, I'm doing, as I've said elsewhere in this, a pretty steady speed. I don't like to accelerate hard because that's what kills your fuel consumption. Once you get your speed up, if you can kind of maintain that speed and just keep it going, you don't really get anywhere any quicker for driving like a nut job, because you always have to hit the brakes for something, or slow down, or you stop anyway to get fuel or whatever, and all that ridiculous driving that you've done gets negated by the fact that you've had to do that. So you might as well just enjoy the scenery, if you like. Maybe that's just the old geezer in me talking. So I was really pleased with the car. When I got to France, I didn't start it for a few days, and in one of the previous videos I mentioned about some of the stuff that was happening, which it got through the Spanish MOT, or the roadworthiness test, and I was quite pleased with that. And just got to get around these guys working the dust cart. And there was still this thing with the suspension that was bugging me a bit. I wasn't quite sure. I just didn't have a chance to get it looked at properly in the end, so I thought I'd run with it because it did go through the test and it was fine. But the suspension did drop quite a long way. I lost all my ground clearance and it dropped right down over the wheel on the back quarter behind me on the near side. So I started it up and it was fine. I raised the suspension up and down a couple of cycles, and then it sat and it was fine. So I don't know what that was about. It drove literally for 14 hours, didn't start it for 4 or 5 days, and that's how it settled. But it ran superbly. I feel really bad because there's still stuff I need to do to the car, and it's just a question of timing and money and all that, and priorities really. So I'm only doing very local journeys at the moment. So I had a good run up through Spain, and I think I did 1,600 miles in the end, something like that. So it all ran really well. There's still a little knock at the front. I don't know if it's another ball joint gone or whatever. Like I said before, you have to kind of forgive the chassis parts wearing, because it's a 20-year-old car. These rubber parts and stuff, they're just not going to last forever, are they? So I was pretty pleased with that. It ran really well. It was rock solid, reliable. It had a bit of a shock when it got back to England, because it's the first time it's been in any cold weather for a while, and I didn't start it for 5 days. Well, and then it wouldn't start. So, but I got it jumped, and it's been fine after that. So, if I think of anything else to add to this, I will. But other than that, I just wanted to kind of put some of the other stuff back into the video that I mentioned, because keep it relevant for the trip and everything. So if I finish here, I'm going to say thanks for sticking with me and joining me in the videos. Appreciate it. And if I do add something onto this, I'll probably edit this bit out and it would just look very odd. Anyway, I'll catch up with you later. Thanks for watching. Take care. So the final few things that are going to go into the boot of the CL. So that is absolutely rammed full. So in there's 2 suitcases, well, 1 suitcase and 1 soft hold all full of clothes, an amplifier, 3 guitars. This bag here, which is my gig bag for all my stuff, this is an acoustic. There's another guitar there, and there's another one right at the front. There's a tower computer, which is in there, my HP. And underneath here is the screen, which is flat. There's shoes, there's tools, there's a suit, there's my soft hold. There's a cafetiere. Down there's a very nice 22-year-old bottle of wine stashed away. And of course the obligatory PG tips, which I brought back from Spain. So it's quite unbelievable. And these are, that's my dirty laundry. And well, you can see jackets. Quite unbelievable what you can get in the boot of a CL. And if you've seen my other videos, you know it's not the first time I've loaded that up. There's vodka down there. There's another bottle of really nice Spanish Ribera del Duero in a box. It's just incredible what is in there. So there we go, and it should just fit down. There it is. So beautiful day here. Makes a change because it was raining literally for the last 2 weeks since I got here, and I really encourage you. I don't know quite how I'm going to edit this video at the moment. It's a bit random because I didn't put anything up from the drive up here because it was all like in darkness and been seen before. Good morning, Graham.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Well, my hands are dirty anyway, and there's this other thing knocking around. Are you doing a documentary on Monday?
No, I'm doing a video for my channel for my car.
Oh, right.
So I'm just my final leg of my journey. So
Oh, right.
just showing the lovely French rural countryside.
That's it, yeah.
Anyway,
Even better when the sun's shining.
it is beautiful. See you later.
Yeah, cheers. For now.
So here, this is Mandat, and that's it really. There's not many houses here at all. This is where I've been staying, my friend's house and his barn. And yeah, beautiful. So I think, as I was saying, I'm not sure how I'm going to edit this together. But you know, if you've seen any of my other videos, I really encourage you to just get in your CL and drive, or even if you don't have a CL but you're interested in road trips, then you know, just go and explore. So I'm kind of halfway through northern France at the moment. I left the Limoges area about midday. It's about 3:15 now. I've actually been driving for just under 3 hours. So fuel prices in France are a little bit more expensive than Spain. It's been a good route so far, just pretty average. Been through quite a few small little French towns and villages, but you know, nothing really to report. And I thought that I would at least do an update while it's sunny and daylight, because normally when I do these routes it tends to be overnight, or you know, where there's not really that much to show you. And obviously there's not that much to show you really here, but I will try and drop in a little bit of footage of something that might be a bit more interesting. And the car's running really well. On the way up from northern Spain into France, I was actually getting 31.3 to the gallon on average, and that really made a huge difference to the range, because I filled up in the Burgos area in northern Spain, and I think I did about 420 something miles, and I still had 200 miles left according to the range on the tank. And you know, with that kind of MPG, it's pretty easy to just cruise along. And I was doing about 120 kilometers an hour on average, maybe a bit less, and that's about 70 miles an hour. Not really pushing the car, not accelerating hard, just kind of cruising along. and she's just running fabulous and comfy. You know, I did 14 hours on the first journey up from Andalusia up to near the Limoges area where I've just been for the last couple of weeks. And yeah, it was uneventful, nice, solid drive. So I'll do a little update on the MPGs and progress as we go. So you might have seen on some of my previous videos where I go through these little kind of villages or hamlets, and this is the kind of thing that you encounter. So some of these are very quiet. Sometimes you don't see anybody. It's Friday lunchtime or Friday afternoon, and we're just kind of stuck behind a tractor at the moment. And so, you know, it's one of the hazards, but it gives you a chance to kind of see what these little villages are like. There's very little to distinguish them, actually. Probably like British towns, when you drive through them, you know, it's, they start to kind of all look the same. So hopefully this tractor will be turning off somewhere very soon, or at least letting all the traffic past, so my MPGs can get back to normal. It's a bit dull following a tractor, obviously. And so we're out of this little village, and oh, there's a tanker ahead, so the tractor has gone. So there he goes off up the little road there. So let's see what the next place has in store for us.